start streaming. So, okay, I don't know if I turned that right. I had to bend down this time. So, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are. Right, so, first off, sorry, but I've got a light about that far above me. I don't normally stream like this. So, oh God, and one of my TVs, I just had a problem with my TV and it's just decided it's going to give me jip. So I can't believe that right at the start of the stream. I'll press OK and hope it doesn't affect the others. Right, so I think I sorted it. No, that end screen for some reason went down to 30 Hertz. So it's been an absolute nightmare today. I thought I fixed it, and as you've just seen, obviously a problem. Right, so as I said, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever. Right, so yeah, let me explain a few things. I've got some soft boxes coming for lighting, but on this build I actually have to stand. This is not something I can do sitting on my couch, which is the most uncomfortable couch you could ever purchase, and the only thing in the whole of this house, apart from my bed, that you can sit on. As you can see, this is my front room. I'm praying my microphone's working. So, this is more actually a personal one for the Technisches Universität in Darmstadt, Germany. This system's going there for basically studies on simulations, how it helps, and the understanding of motorcycles and riding. So there's a lot more involved than just gaming here. As you can see, I've got my trusty old Honda and another BMW also going to Germany. But this is the first part of building the frame, so basically basic assembly. I'm not going to get too in depth because lighting is bad and I do need to pack this and ship it, so I need to get this done. So end of the day, I've got bloody ash on my red tablecloth already. Do you know how hard it is to actually in this house try and photograph anything that's black? Because everything's black. That's why I'm wearing a red shirt, so that you can see where I am. Otherwise I'd be swallowed by black. Anyhow, we're going to do a basic assembly. I'm not going to go too in depth because it's really actually very simple. Right at the moment it's a case of basic assembly, and I'll then follow up with how to put the frames on the tank and seat unit, assemble those onto the frame, and then handlebars and front control mounts. So this is just the first part. Right, so to it. This part here is your main frame, and basically it's actually not light, it's pretty damn light, but it's extremely stable. I've designed it so that, let's get rid of that cigarette ash. Yeah, I'm terrible, aren't I? I'm waiting for someone to come in and say, oh, you're bloody smoking again. So, one base frame. I've designed the system so that it can actually accept a motion platform from DOF Reality, and this whole structure here is to the dimensions of DOF Reality's main base. and I build adapters so you can put the Doff Reality motion platform directly on top, bolts to it, then my top frame goes on Doff Reality. I'll explain a bit more as we go along. So, our base frame. One of the first things is, and I've obviously knocked my camera, so you can see certain points. So on each corner we've got 4 outer legs, and they are basically foot assemblies like this, and you'll be surprised, but each one of these will take 250 pounds. That's quite a bit of weight, and these are the small ones. They actually take 250 pounds of weight on top of them. There's one in each corner. These are the small ones, and it's basically, they come half pre-assembled, so you'll have a nut and a washer. They slide into the leg. These are 8mm. I said you'll be surprised, they will actually take 250 pounds. Then you take another washer, then a nut. I'm just using a standard nut right now for speed, but these will, when you get the system, they actually come with a lock nut. So that'll be locked down with a lock nut. I'm not going to bother locking it down. The only spanners you need are 2 13mm ring spanners and 2 19mm ring spanners, and a 6mm Allen key. So those are locked in. You'll do that on all 4 points on the outer edge, and then you have the center ones. These come, I pre-adjust and lock them down, so when you get them, each system's preset to the system. It's all custom made, so you'll have the 2 lock nuts in their place, washer on top. They then go, this is our midsection, which basically, if you want a static system, you'll use this. But if you, I've got to be careful because I'm really close to that and I don't want to scratch it. So this bolt pattern here, see these, I've got to look, this is where I hate doing it on video. These are for those feet that I've just put through. This goes on one way. These face to the front. See, I'm working side, my camera's to the side, so I'm not working back to front. It's really awkward. These face to the front. This sits on top. Now you can remove, this is for static, so it sits still, doesn't move. You can remove this, and then the top section, which will fit on this, then goes on top of the motion system. So this is the part that enables you to have static and motion. So we'll put this on top so you can see. So once that's mounted, I'll now move my camera up. So now we've got this mounted, and yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm limited to space. As you can see, I'm packed. I've got camera stuff coming, but I have to do this now. So basically, I'll try and bring the camera across so that we can actually see there. Right, yeah, you can see my screens behind. I hope they're not going to screw things up. But anyhow, this is now the base part. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to lock down the feet, because you won't adjust the outer 4. So what you do is, the center ones are your base, and they're pre-locked. You can adjust them obviously. The whole system can be adaptable for uneven floor, so you can literally have a floor that's 1 inch or 2 inches out of uneven. This will sit on a staggered floor or whatever. It's fully adjustable, so it stays 100% level, and that's most important. So now these are 19mm spanner, so you just use a 19mm on those, one underneath, one on top, lock them down. I'm not going to worry about doing all of that now, and that you just want to get the basic assembly. That's what this is about. So then we have a pattern of 8 all the way around. So we've got a 3mm piece of steel plus another 3mm. This now makes a 6mm thick base plate. I don't know if people understand what 6mm thick steel is, but try bending it. Basically, you could ride a car over the frame, it won't bend. I use particular wall lengths, thicknesses, so for all around here you've got 8mm by 25mm stainless steel 8x8, and that, so they're basically strong. One of those in the top. Then you've got, I'm using just a small one for now because I'm just assembling, but you come with large penny washers that are 1.5mm thick. This is just for assembly to show you. You just reach underneath, feel it on the end of the bolt, flip it up. What I do is, I'll show you in a sec. Just put a couple of these on here. Oh, did I just go? I went for the wrong set, didn't I? Yeah, that is the wrong set. Supposed to be doing it from there. That one's got to go there. That goes there. So I used it from the wrong bloody set. But they're all actually, the 8mm on most of this are all the small ones, are 25mm long, and it's basically very few tools, very quick to assemble. Basically you'll do underneath, you'll have one here, one there, there, and there. So you do the same all the way around. Like I say, I'm trying to make it so that it's not that long a video, but it's really simple. It's just a case of repeating certain stages. I did forget, I am going to have to get one certain piece that I left at the back of the room, so I'm going to have to quickly disappear to the back of the room. I shall be back. I'll be back. I'll save you. Right, so stick you there. Right, so this was actually kind of, I don't do scripts, so I'm kind of like winging it. I know what way it goes together, but I know that myself. But actually trying to explain it to other people it's not an easy thing. So, one of the most important points is this. This is basically the mid-section assembly joint and foot control bracket. So it sits like this. Now the thing is with this, you can simply change the height of the foot pegs by sliding it up and down, and it does about 1.5 inches. But if you want to, you can also swap it like that and automatically raise the foot controls 2 inches. So if you've got really short people, you can really do it. So it's multi-purpose on its direction. This comes with a bolt. I've got to keep remembering which camera to look at. This is a spreader. So when it comes, it will have this bolt, which is one of the ones you use to assemble it. But when you get it, this one is spreading these apart because this is a very tight fit, and I mean tight. In order to make it function properly, you've got to have really tight clearances. So this has to be spread so it can slide on top of this, and then you once it's on top, and you put 2 of the bolts in to hold it in place. You remove this, and then you assemble the rest. I'll show you that now. So, got our spreader. You have 4 of these 8mm by 75mm. You have one in the hand, and it's important you actually have one in your hand when you do this. And then you'll slide it over with the foot controls facing to the back, and then where you've got the top, so you've got 2. The top one, you simply put this through. Now I did forget to say, put it through with a bloody washer. So that's easy enough to do. I'll just put this one through with the washer. Get my washer ready. Lift it up a bit. Slide that in. So that's in. Then you put 2 large washers on the back. Yeah, I know this is a bad kind of way of doing it, but it's very simple to actually understand, and I'll show you a close-up and then you'll see. But if my hands are in the way, you're not going to see it anyhow. Like I say, I'm limited on space. So there you can see we've got 2 nuts, 2 washers. Once again, when you actually get this, these will be nylock nuts. This is only for quick building now. So now, once you just put those in place, which will hold this bracket there, you need to use 2, basically, autofocus is bad, 13mm or 1/2 inch. Yeah, 13 mil is one of the only ones where you're really lucky. And what you want to do is you want to turn them so that they come together. So you turn it so you make the nut go inwards. Because what it's done is it's been spreading the metal apart, so the nuts have been working against each other. And once it's loose, you can flip it up. Now what we want to do is we're going to basically, this one here, you wind in, move this out, and then remove, and you'll see there's a washer, 2 nuts and a big washer. Remove all of those, remove the nut. Now it's hard when you're watching this to understand, but when you've actually got the pieces in front of you, you'll fully understand. So please excuse me. Like I say, I'm kind of having to do this on a rush because I need to get this packed, and I don't have the lighting and the parts to do this, so it's a case of I'm gonna have to wing it. Right, that's those done for now. So this is where you'll basically have your foot controls mount onto here, and that, so if you look at my foot controls, you can see how it mounts. So you've got the bar, the T-bar here, and then the foot controls on there. That's basically what that is. And yes, I've got no white behind here. I've got a I've got a white video wall coming, but I don't have it yet. So basically you can see that's there, and then what you'd have I put the brackets, they're there. So I've already got the bracket. So this is just the bracket without the levers or anything on. These I make myself. So the one thing is, there's a certain way to do it from each side, and basically for the brake on your right, you have to have one bolt, so the top one has to go through the top, and the bottom one has to come from the rear. So if you can see that, so the top one goes from the front of the bracket to the back, and then this one here, the one I'm wobbling, goes from the back to the front, and then you bolt it down. I'm not going to worry about that now, you'll see it in pictures, but this is just a quick explanation. With the gear shift, which I can't get my camera through because it's the other side, you, in fact, if you're doing it from the other side, it'd be like that. You'd have both bolts going like that. So from the other side, this would be like this. You'll have both bolts coming in. So both bolts will try and do this with one hand. You have to do it with two. So you see, I have to keep moving stuff. See, both of them are coming through from the outside. That's all you've got to remember. Right. See, this is not an easy kind of video to make, believe me. Not on your own. I've been on my own since March, so getting on for 7 months. Excuse my bum being in the way. Right, so we got to the midsection. Now we're going to have to back off a bit and come up a bit. So, as doesn't matter how strong a bolt is, steel is, whatever. Right, before I get into this, I need a cigarette. I need a sup on a beer. I'm cotton mouth. Sup on a beer and a cigarette. So, point being, in order, doesn't matter how good you can weld or how good a joint is. I'm a true believer in making sure that if you've got two pieces that come together, they could break. No matter if they're bracket here, bracket there, or whatever. So for me, it's a case of you need something that really is solid between the two. And the thing is, can't really get something solid, and then it adds weight and bulkiness, and when you're doing a motion platform system, you need to try and keep as much weight down as possible. So luckily I come up with a U-bend. Yeah, a U-bend in a straight line. I'll explain in a sec. Sorry, but I do need a cig. I actually get quite nervous making these kind of videos because I'm not a professional video maker and all of that, and yeah, I suppose after 6 months of being on my own, I've forgotten how to talk to people. But we'll get to it in a sec. I need a Brussels. So, this is basically the safety for the system. This means that the bit that goes on top of there can't just bend or break or anything. It doesn't matter if the bolts come loose, if the bracket breaks or whatever. It physically cannot break, it cannot come apart because there's this piece of metal, and because it's not solid, it allows a flex if necessary. But because it allows flex, it doesn't break. So this, and it's important, when you put this inside, it has to go in a certain way. So this is the front. So this is a U. You turn it to the side. So it goes in like that. So if you can see, you've got the slide, it slides in like that. So you slide that in there. And now you can see it protrudes this amount out, goes all the way down here. So that's 300 millimeter. And it's a very minimal air gap in there. It's very, very tight. But it has to be easy enough to put in, pull out if necessary. But like I said, you need to have, sometimes it's something so rigid, that's where it's more likely to bend or break. If you give something a bit of space to flex, works a little bit better. I've tested it, this works better. So now we need the top of it, the main part where you put your bum. Right, let me go get it. Where are you, lady? Hiding back here. All right. Whoa, I just hit my light bulb with a piece of metal. Not a good thing to do. Don't be hitting light bulbs with metal. Right, so this is the main frame. As you can see, I'm just holding it up with one hand. I can actually lift the whole of this frame with 2 fingers. It will take 500 pound in weight, so all the metal, if a guy that's 500 pounds sits on it, it's not going to bend, but I can pick it up with 2 fingers. So this is the frame. These are the mounts for the tank. This one's different from others. This is one for desktop. So if you've got a desktop system, you can take your desktop system and mount it on here. Whereas the full ones, like my CBR, are full sit-on, different handlebar system. And then you've got your rear mounts for the seat unit. So as you can see, we've got our 2 bolt holes at the front, which is why you had to mount the lower one, or the midsection, a certain way. You just take this, slide it in there, and she's happy to sit there on her own without any bolts or anything. And I'm doing all of this, okay. What's under here, you know, one of those really cheap picnic tables that folds out? This one folds in half and the legs fold out. That's all this is. So it's a really cheap picnic table. Like, I can show you. See, really cheap picnic table. Right. So now, basically got this on. So once you take 2 more of the 75s. Put your large penny washers on. I have to lift her up and wiggle her around a bit. Where are you? Right, and then what you'll do is you'll get the same 2 penny washers, your nuts, which, like I said, you'll use nylock nuts so that they don't come loose. I'm just using plain nuts for quick assembly. Right, then one 13mm or half an inch. I know for I gave up using inch and stuff like that so long ago, but some people might not have a 13mm, but a half inch is exactly the same size. And a 6mm, and there's no difference from that, there's only a 6mm Allen key. So then all you want to do is tighten up and what you'll find is as you tighten one up, others will feel looser. So you want to do it where you go through, and you can slide this can move up and down, this can move up and down, so you can adjust things. It makes the whole of the base adjustable. I feel like this picnic table is going to break with me leaning on it, not because of the weight of the system, but me leaning on it. Right, so that's that. Now, so that basically you now got the main base fully assembled. And if you actually do it without having to watch me do it and you're actually building it, you can do it in about 10 minutes. It's really that simple. And like I said, it's not that heavy. I'm not going to try with 2 fingers from here, because 2 fingers from here is different from 2 fingers from here. If it's on the ground and you lift it up, you can lift it with 2 fingers. But because I'm at a different angle, I'm going to try it. Not only that, I want to be careful of my table. I need my table. Right, so that is the basics for the main frame. What I'm going to do in the next video is where I've got 2 frames that go on the top, and they allow the tank and seat to move backwards and forwards, but they make it so it's really easy. So literally once you've mounted the frames in the tank and seat unit, it's 4 bolts and they're boom on, and that's done, and you can adjust them backwards and forwards by about 1.5 inches. So those I'll be doing in the next video, should be tomorrow, because I need this on the ground to do that video, and then I need this table to put the tank and the seat unit on to show me doing it. So yeah, I don't want you guys to wait half an hour while I pack everything away and bring it all down and get ready again. And besides that, it's been a long day. So anyhow, hope that helps with the assembly of the base frame. Like I said, I've designed it to be as simple as possible, and that's been the hardest thing. The original design was so complex. In order to have strength and keep weight down, I've done a lot of work in developing where the strength is, how it's easier to put it together, and so far this is the simplest and best design I've come up with. And as you can see by like the BMW and my CBR, it looks good, so it doesn't, it's not awkward looking, and you can add a lot to it. So yeah, well, thank you for watching, and please look out for the next videos. There's going to be quite a few coming, and yeah, I'm hoping that I get my soft boxes so I've got better lighting, and I don't think I'm going to get more space because that's just not happening at the moment. I'm getting less space. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Keep yourselves safe, and yeah, stay healthy. Thank you. Now I've got to try and get to my mouse and stop the stream. Have a good evening. Bye bye.